You mentioned the Margaret Sanger Award. One of the first people to receive a Margaret Sanger Award was Martin Luther King Jr. And
I am not aware of that.
yeah, at the time, it's been said and written about that Martin Luther King was like the so-called leaders of the blacks, and
Right.
she wanted to know who was the loudmouth preacher in the black community for blacks, right? And at the time, was Martin Luther King Jr., so she gave him the Margaret Sanger Award. And I've come to realize that one of the worst things that ever happened to the blacks, other than abortion, was the civil rights movement. Do you agree with me on that?
I want you to expand on that. Why do you say that?
Because when prior to the civil rights movement, black people were independent thinkers. They didn't have leaders. They had their parents when they were young, but as adults, they led their own life. God led their lives. They had their own businesses. They didn't have to look to somebody to tell them how to vote or who to vote for. They were more independent. They didn't rely on the welfare. They were Republicans because the Democrats would not allow blacks into the Republican Party. Even Martin Luther King was a Republican at the time. But once the civil rights movement started, the blacks gave up God, they gave up family, they gave up individual thinking, and they went into blackness. They started looking for leaders like Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, all those guys. They sold the blacks over to the Democratic Party, and it's just been downhill ever since.
I could see that. I mean, there are some good things that came out of the civil rights movement, but I could also see your point on how a lot of these leaders, even to this day, that are still talking, do not represent the black community, and they purely represent a political ideology
Yeah.
that's only pushed us further away from prosperity. So I can see that. There are some good things, however, that have happened through the civil rights movement, but
Like
were
what?
there well, for example, it's a lot, and don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of discrimination that happens in this country. Like people are still discriminated against, but
Everybody
um,
discriminates. There's
well,
not
of
one
course,
human being that doesn't discriminate.
right, of course, but even outside of that,
But
I
why
think
is
that prospect.
discrimination seen as a bad thing? It's not bad to discriminate.
I could see your point on that, but at the same time, it prevents people who otherwise could have had an opportunity, who may even have the opportunity, who may even have the skills to fill certain roles or to accomplish certain things. A lot of them could get left in the dirt or left in the dust
What do you
because
mean?
they are not considered.
Give me an
Well,
example of what you mean by that.
what I'm saying is like if you got two people, one's white, one's black, and both of them went to school for the same degree, but let's say the black person excels better than the white person does, but they decide not to choose a black person purely because of discrimination.
That
I mean,
doesn't
that could
happen.
affect people. Well, I've seen it happen a few times.
You have?
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
But the blacks don't work hard enough to be qualified. You know how
I
they
wouldn't
want
say
to they want to lower the standard. They tell the white man, you know what, the SAT test is too hard. Um, you want me to show up at work at 7. I want to come at 9. You want me to work so hard like a white person. That's racism. Why would any white
well, well,
why why would
I
any
certainly
white
don't think
person
that
want to
way.
put up with that in their company?
Well, I certainly don't think that way.
I know I don't
I'm not
want to.
certain.
I want them to know you don't think that way. You know what I mean?
Well, no,
But
not even just me. I mean, first off, personally, I wouldn't associate myself with people that think that way. Um,
what?
but if someone is lazy and they're trying to kick the can down the road, I don't associate myself with people like that.
Right on.
Like I wouldn't have someone like that in my circle. It's just too much of a liability.
Yeah.
But that's me personally. I know there's people that are like that. I mean, I've seen them in all races. Granted, is there a lot of it happening in the black community? Sure, but also look at the environment that they're in. Look at the many factors that have led into that. Can it be fixed? Absolutely. But I don't think it's fair to say that all black people think that way.
Not all, not all, not all, not all, but most.
I could see that.
Yeah. Not all, not all, but most. I was going to ask you something. Oh, would you hire a black person with a black name?
I've got a black name. My name's, well, other than my first name, my last name's Prempeh. It's a very
Your name, you
African
got
name.
an
So,
African name though.
oh yeah, yeah, it is. It's a Ghanaian
But
name. Look
black
my name
people
up.
got black names because they don't want to have white names, so they name themselves May May or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, if they could do the job, I don't care if their name is Tin Can, honestly.
But if the fact that they have a black name mean that they hate the white man or white people, so you're gonna have trouble in your business. If a black person come in with a black name, you already know they're gonna be not liking the white man.
I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before.
Why else would they
Uh,
have a black name?
I don't know. Their parents decided that that was a good idea, I suppose. I don't know.
They need to fire their parents for doing that. That's a
Oh
setup.
man,
You know what I mean? Don't answer.
I don't know how to answer that.